Well, hello there, brothers and sisters of WoT Blitz Universe. You're watching WoT Blitz Addict again. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the WZ-112-2, the Celestial, which is a really hold-down beast. And we're talking about this tank because there's a bundle in store right now containing WZ-112-2 Celestial and WZ-111. And honestly, if you want a good tank and you want to save some gold, just pick this tank. Don't go for the bundle. Basically, you won't use your WZ-111. That tank isn't spectacular. It's just another clone of IS-5 tank, and it's not really great at it. So, yeah, of course, it can be a decent tank, but this one in particular is a great one. And yeah, as you can see, the armor, the looks of it, I mean, the camo and the add-on looks just so great, and I really love this one. But let's focus on the equipment I'm using. So as you can see, consumables, multi-purpose wrist reparation pack, repair kit, and adrenaline, typical for my setup. Same for the provisions, so combat rations, protective kit, and improved fuel as usual. Ammo loadout, 16 APCR rounds, 8 hit rounds, and 6 HE. HE can really bite. I'm using calibrated shells because, as you can see, the penetration isn't great and the rammer doesn't give you much of a benefit, so I really advise you to use calibrated on this tank. And chance gun length drive because the aiming time is just terrible. And same here, I'm using refined gun because this gun dispersion is just so awful. You can see how awful it is, and you will see in the video why I'm using it. Here you can go for both. I'm using a defense system, but improved fuel would do as well because it's a frontline brawler, and that's all this tank is. Enhanced armor in this scenario because it has a lot of armor we're gonna talk about in a second. This also depends on your playstyle. Enhanced tracks or toolbox. I'm using toolbox. I'm kind of used to using toolbox. Improved optics. I'm using engine accelerator to boost my speed. The traverse isn't great, but it's enough in my opinion, so I'm using just this one to boost up the speed. And I'm using consumable delivery system because the reload is too long to go for the other consumable. So yeah, it really works best that way. Now let's check the armor profile. As you can see, we are going against the Löwe. I choose this tank particularly because I wanted to show you how the armor profile works against good guns, and Löwe's penetration is great. So you have 6 degrees of gun depression, and it's really great to use those 6 degrees because you have just tiny weak spots on your turret, which are the tiny hatches and the bottom plate. Other than that, this tank can really rock. Look at this. Even with calibrated and pramo, Löwe is still gonna struggle, especially at distance, at mid-range, to penetrate you. That tank is, in my opinion, in my personal opinion, it's even better hold down than the 252U because it doesn't have the pike nose. And that's, even though the 252U has really strong pike nose, it really works better, at least for me. You can side scrape like a boss. As you can see, it's really hard to deal with this tank when it's hold down. And the balancing factor is the gun, but I will tell you about it in a second. Let's just look at this. Even some tier 10 medium tanks will struggle to pan this armor, which is just retarded. But yeah, sides aren't strong, but still you can bounce on the tiny bits of armor. Of course you have spaced armor, so the best thing to do against this tank is shoot the tracks, not the side. As you can see, side can really bounce a lot. It's common to all Russian and Chinese tanks. Most, maybe not all, but most. The back is totally paper. Same for the turret armor, but this spaced armor here, look at the values. I mean, you can, if you hitting this spot, you barely have a chance to penetrate this tank. And it's the same with the IS-8, IS-3, and so on and so on. So if you counter this tank, simply go for the tracks. Hit the tracks, don't hit the upper plate, even though it looks like it's pennable. Believe me, you will bounce. Even just looking straight at it, you will bounce most of the times. So yeah, that how it looks armor wise. Now let's look how it works in the battle. uh, this tank can be really great or really disappointing. That's the point of this tank. If you're trying to snipe, if you're trying to get long shots, you will in most cases you will miss, because it's rarely able to provide decent accuracy. I mean, you can get shots like this, and in most cases when you're driving forward, I mean, it was a snapshot. I was going to my position, so I didn't even find it to waste a shot or waste a shot, because it's a premium tank. It will still earn you credit, so I'm not really concerned about hitting those shells. Even though if I miss, yeah, if I miss, I will miss. If I hit, then extra damage for me, as easy as it is right now. And we're gonna try to side scrape at most of as well as we can. Basically, here I made a mistake by just but my phone is not working so greatly, so yeah, it still was my mistake. I could just side scrape like I'm doing now, and probably this projectile would bounce, because projectile doesn't have great penetration values. And on the other hand, yeah, that's what I'm talking about again. It's a straight close quarter brawler, nothing more than that. If you want to snipe with it, then forget about this tank. I think the accuracy is even worse than it is on the Ice 5, I would say so. Like those shots, most of the times you will get shots like this. I mean, this is a typical Russian gun. It shoots just whatever it wants to shoot. It barely ever gonna hit its target at distance. In close range it works absolutely good, because you're in a close range. And now you're gonna see how the armor profile is. I mean, we are surrounded by enemies, and I'm going for the projectile just because I can take the gun out of the game, and that's the main point of this. And now we're gonna brawl against these three guys here, and you're gonna see that this tank can do spectacularly well. We received the bounce. I'm just trying to side hug this VK. I know he's on a reload, so I was just going for other tanks. Now I don't have a choice. I need to clear this guy, so I was basically had to take a shot from this VK. But now it's all settled. We're gonna take care of this VK, and there's not much he can do basically against us. The penetration values aren't great, like I told you, but still you are low to the ground. That means you can go for those with 6 degrees of gun depression. You can go for those lower plates, and he bounced me. Like you saw, he bounced me, and now we're going for the third ring. I don't know if that penetrate or not. I think not. And it was heat shells. Still, the penetration isn't great, but look at this. I mean, you can easily pan the front of tanks. Unfortunately, when I was saying that, I basically bounced, but hey, this is how it goes. The penetration values and the gun is really bad, but that's the balancing factor of this tank, because the armor profile is so spectacular on this tank. I find it more useful than the Object 252, like I told you, because it's a typical I kind of hate pike nose tanks, because the pike nose gives you of course on the Object 252 it's stupidly broken. The armor profile is stupidly broken, and you can bounce off the tracks of the side. That's just ridiculous. But still, this tank needs a bit more skill, but still can provide you with decent armor profile. You can bounce a lot of shells. As you can see, we did pretty well with nice damage, first class, and 2 kills, basically just by brawling. And this game particularly will show how bad the gun is while you're trying to deal damage from the distance. And this one is from my amigo YouTube Endgame, and most of you watching my channel for some time know this guy. He also has a YouTube channel, and he's playing on NA server. And I wanted to show you this game so no one can tell me I've cherry-picked the games. He will have a so trollish RNG. I mean, the gun is trolling overall, but the RNG he had is just terrible. And when you're gonna see the outcome of the battle, it's even worse. But yeah, let's focus on the game. As you can see, the penetration values aren't great. I don't know if he's using the calibrated shells or gun rammer, but as you saw, he couldn't penetrate, even though his over the T-34, he couldn't penetrate his frontal plate, which is really bad, and the penetration values are really bad. So that's why I'm using calibrated shells. And you're gonna see most of the shots he will deal basically went nowhere near the targets. And that's the problem with the tank. So don't expect this tank to be a sniper. Don't even try to snipe with this tank. The best thing you can do with this tank is just straight brawling. Of course, 6 degrees of gun depression can allow you to be quite relatively safe in this position and be able to deal some damage, but yeah, it's not the best scenario. Of course, it's best to use 6 degrees of gun depression, that's for sure, but not in this situation. I mean, now his whole team, basically med flank, died, and now the medium tanks have easy shots on his side. That means he can't really do much about it, and only thing he has now is the armor profile and the range. Like I told you, the sides are kind of trollish because of spaced armor, but still most of the tanks will be able to penetrate. I mean, when I look at the shots, I feel sorry for that guy. I mean, seriously, Endgame, you had such a troll RNG that, yeah, Wargaming doesn't love you, that's for sure, especially in this game. But yeah, by the way, I just watched today, I watched the Mitzi video when he talked about making videos in his car, which is really nothing new for me, because I'm just using my mobile device. So most of my videos, like at least half of them, is made in my car, because with my family, with my daughter, wife and a dog, it's really hard to get some space to do videos. But since I'm just using my mobile device, it's easier for me to do it simply in my car. So yeah, hello Mitzi. Yeah, but yeah, we're still talking about the tank. I mean, you saw how bad the gun is. Those shots, of course, it may change, like it changed a bit here, but still he did a low roll, and most of his shots went nowhere close to the targets, near the targets. So all he can do right now is just push against those medium tanks, because if he would stay there was nothing he could do. And you're gonna see how bad the gun is. Still, the gun is so bad. You will see how the mod 1 looks for this gun. I mean, come on, the penetration on the heavy tank, especially if 122mm gun, is just bad. Of course, the armor profile is really good, like I told you. So if you stay hold down, the mats won't stand the chance to pen you frontally. Even if you are slightly angled, they're gonna struggle to pen your sights. And that's the main thing about this tank. Close combat, close range battles, just simply brawling and trying to get those shots off, because the reload time isn't spectacular, but you can still stay safe and get those bounces. This shot he may simply aim, because he saw how bad the penetration is. And if you're using gun rammer, Endgame, try to use the calibrated shell, because the rammer doesn't give you any advantage in this tank. I mean, any. The penetration is so bad, and your DPM isn't spectacular, so it's best to make those shots count. Other than that, you won't deal massive damage. He still, even though he missed so many shells, he will still do massive damage in this game. I mean, it wasn't a bad game. And the outcome of the game, you will see the outcome of the game. When I watched this for the first time, because I knew the outcome from the screenshot he sent me, I was like, when I was watching this, I was like, how could this even happen? How could this happen? As you can see, it's 4 against 1 right now, and there's only one, I think it was the T-49, just luring around the map, and they're losing on cap points. There was a guy sitting near the C cap for such a long time, and then he decides to finally move forward and get the cap. I mean, seriously, this IS-6 played it so bad. it's beyond imagination, but that's what you get nowadays. I mean, there are lots of players, new players playing, and Wargaming just spamming those premium tanks and offers, which make those players to buy those tanks. And I'm running over so many players that have no clue how to play overall, and they just play the tier 8 premium tanks. That's just beyond imagination. But yeah, as you can see, for now they have 3 bases, so all is good. They have 3 tanks against 1 light tank, and now he's capping C, and look what the IS-6 is doing. I mean, he's near him, he could just roll and forward and just deal with this guy. At least don't let him catch the base. And now, as you can see, the cap points went up. There's only 6 seconds left on the clock. There's no way they're gonna win this. And that's the sad truth about latest gaming experience. But still, a first class, a steel wall, as you can see, almost 3k damage, nice base XP, really close to an ace. And that's basically all for this episode, boys and girls. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. I'm still on my 500 subs quest, so if you want to help me out, please consider subscribing to my channel. If you want to join my Discord, the link is in the description below, same as my Facebook profile. Take care, bye bye, and catch you all on the battlefield.